嗯谢谢一切，拜分个，嗯来是一切，扮演非个些比较。
It looks like you've presented a possible anagram. Let's break it down to see if EJGNDEFB can be rearranged to spell Ejitnibai. EJGNDEFB has the following letters and counts: E2, J1, G1, N1, T1, F1, B1. Ejitnibai has the following letters and counts: E3, J1, B2, T1, N1, A1, B1, I1. Notice that the letter counts don't match. EJGNDEFB has only 2 E's, while Ejitnibai has 3. Also, Ejitnibai has 2 Y's, an A and an I, none of which are present in EJGNDEFB. Therefore, EJGNDEFB cannot be rearranged to spell Ejitnibai. They are not anagrams. Ah, I see. You're giving me the letter E, and asking me to consider it as having a count of 1. Okay, let's reanalyze the anagram possibility with that in mind. EJGNDEFB, with E1, has the following letters and counts: E1, J1, G1, N1, T1, F1, B1. Ejitnibai still has the same letters and counts: E3, J1, A2, T1, N1, A1, B1, I1. Even with your correction of E1 for the first word, the letter counts still don't match. Ejitnibai has more E's, 2 Y's, an A, and an I, none of which are present in EJGNDEFB, even with your correction. Therefore, even with the correction, EJGNDEFB cannot be rearranged to spell Ejitnibai. They are still not anagrams. That's a long string of letters. It's not immediately obvious if there's a meaningful word or phrase hidden within it. To figure this out, we'd need to look for patterns, potential word breaks, or perhaps apply some kind of cipher if it's encoded. Here are some approaches we could take. 1. Frequency analysis. We could count the occurrences of each letter. In English, some letters are much more common than others, like E, T, A, O, I, N, S, H, R, D, L, and U. If the frequency of letters in your string significantly deviates from typical English, it might suggest it's not plain text or that it's encoded. 2. Looking for patterns. Are there any repeating sequences of letters? Do certain letter combinations appear frequently? This could give clues to word fragments. 3. Word breaks. Try inserting spaces at different points to see if any recognizable words emerge. This is difficult with such a long string, but it's worth a try. 4. Anagram possibilities. If we suspect it might be an anagram, we'd need to have a target word or phrase in mind to compare letter counts. Your string has a lot of B, D, G, H, N, and S letters. 5. Online anagram solvers/tools. There are websites and tools designed to find anagrams or solve letter puzzles. You could try inputting the string there, but with a string this long it might not be very effective without some clues or assumptions. 6. Consider encoding. If none of the above work, it's highly likely the string is encoded in some way. We'd need more information about the potential encoding method to decipher it. Without any context or clues, it's very challenging to make sense of this long string. If you have any more information about where it came from or what it might represent, please share it. It would greatly help in trying to decode or understand it. That's another long string of letters. Just like the previous one, it's difficult to decipher without more context. However, we can apply some of the same strategies. 1. Frequency analysis. Let's look at the letter frequencies. In this string, N and H appear to be very common. E, R, Y, G, B, J, W, M, S, A, and T also appear but less frequently. The high frequency of N and H isn't typical of standard English, suggesting it might not be plain text or could be encoded. 2. Pattern recognition. There are some repeating sequences like NHE, ENE, NE, and HNEH. This repetition hints at possible word fragments or a pattern in the encoding if it's not plain text. The repetition of Y and R in JYJRRNHEYGen also stands out. 3. Word breaks. Inserting spaces is difficult without any clues. There aren't any immediately obvious word breaks. 4. Anagram possibilities. It's unlikely to be a simple anagram without a target word or phrase. The letter distribution isn't typical of English. 5. Online tools. Online anagram solvers are unlikely to be helpful with such a long and seemingly unstructured string. 6. Encoding. Encoding is a strong possibility. The letter frequencies and repeating patterns suggest it might be a substitution cipher or some other form of code. Key observations. High N and H frequency. This is unusual for typical English text. Repeating sequences, NHE, ENE, NE, HNEH, and the JYJRRNHEYGen sequence. Next steps, if you have more information. Context. Where did this string come from? Is there any information about its origin or purpose? This is the most crucial piece of the puzzle. Possible encoding methods. Do you have any reason to suspect a particular type of cipher, e.g. Caesar cipher, substitution cipher, etc.? Keyword, if any. Do you have any keywords or related terms that might be relevant? Without more information, it's very difficult to decode or interpret this string. Any additional details you can provide would be greatly appreciated. Let's analyze SHFD Grafrotion NFNFN. 1. Frequency analysis F6H5N5R5S 2 D1G 1T1J 1 F H N and R are the most frequent. This distribution isn't typical of standard English. 2. Pattern recognition. HR and RH appear multiple times. FN appears twice. NFN appears. RHR appears. 3. Word breaks. It's difficult to insert meaningful word breaks. 4. Anagram possibilities. Without a target word or phrase, it's hard to explore anagrams. 5. Online tools. Likely not helpful without clues. 6. Encoding. Encoding is a strong possibility due to the unusual letter frequencies and repeating patterns. Observations. The high frequency of F, H, N, and R is a red flag for non-standard English or encoding. The repeating HR, RH, FN, NFN, and RHR sequences suggest a pattern. Next steps, if you have more information, context. Where did this string come from? This is the most important question. Suspected encoding. Do you have any reason to believe it's a specific type of cipher, e.g., substitution, transposition? Keywords. Any related words or phrases? Without context, it's very difficult to make progress. The repeating patterns suggest it might be a substitution cipher, but without knowing the key or having any context, it's hard to crack. If you can provide any more details, it would be much easier to help.